Welcome to the Hollywood Heroine podcast. All things pop culture, gossip, Kardashians, Real Housewives, reality TV. It's an addiction and we want to talk about it all. New episodes every Wednesday, and follow us on our Instagram account at the Hollywood Heroine with an E at the end. I want to hear what you guys have to say about the crazy pop culture world we are obsessed with. Okay, everyone, we are back this week with a new episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey. We're going to recap the entire episode, and we decided to do a Miami recap of the first reunion. But stay tuned, check out our page because there's another episode, a tiny one for that one. We kind of spiced it up because we wanted to give it some time. Let's get into the Ranjay episode. Again, we start off with, I think it was a to be continued again, because Teresa like storms out. I'm like, guys, you can't end everything with to be continued. It's clearly to be continued.
It's always going to be
to be continued.
I didn't understand why this time they made it so dramatic. It really wasn't like big deal.
No, it was not a big deal. Teresa storms out of the party. She's like, I just can't. My family's like against me. She's like, I don't like fighting with my family. I did really appreciate how like Louis was like comforting her, and he's like, you know, you said this, just calm down. Like, don't say it this way. Like, there's a better way to say it. So I did appreciate him and like the way he like does support her. Like, he doesn't just be like, what did you say? Or like he does try to like bring her down a bit. And then Joe comes out and he's like, what's going on? Like, why are you like crying? This, that. And then all of a sudden, like, you hear Marge, she's like, Teresa's crying. And then they all like run outside to see what's happening. And Tracy, they're like, why is she crying? And Tracy's like, I think I made her cry. She's like, when I told her that she was being rude to her brother, I'm like, bitch, she didn't make her cry. Like, don't like take credit for it. Okay. Like, she's like, I told her she has to stick up for her family. Like, she's not doing that.
I have a place in this group. I have something to say.
And then Teresa's basically like trying to like bargain with Joe. She's like, fine, you don't want me to talk to Jen anymore? Like, I won't. Like, what do you want me to do? And then Joe's like, no, you can talk to whoever you want. Like, make up your own decision about it, whatever. And then Teresa's like, well, when they brought up the video at the party, like, she's like, you didn't even stick up for me. She's like, you didn't even say anything about like Louis' video, this, that, whatever. Basically, Tracy and Margaret are like, yeah, but we were saying that like out of concern for you. Like, we're trying to like protect you. That's why like whatever, we're bringing up this video, this, that. Again, it's just like going around in circles, you know, and I just like, I'm over it. Like, I don't understand why Teresa's like freaking out. What did you think about it?
Well, then, you know, Joe's point also is like, yeah, but you don't also stand up for us. Like, fine, talk to Jen. That's fine. Don't not be her friend. But when stuff comes up, like she calls us a crook, she calls us this, that, you're also not stepping up to say, hey, don't call my brother that. And so I don't know, there's just such a double standard between the two of them. Like, they both want each other to stand up for each other and they're both not. So they just need to put this aside and not let people come between their relationship. And just move on. It's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. And then Teresa says, I never saw the video.
Oh my God.
Because then the video comes up again after. She's like, I never saw the video. Even Gia, she's online and she didn't even see it. The video being Louis' video. Question to you. Do you actually think Teresa never saw the video?
No, she definitely saw it.
Yeah. Like
either like
now it's Teresa. So I do feel like she probably watched it once. And she was like, what is this? This is so weird. Or like, she didn't understand it fully. And then now she's like, I saw it. It's fine.
I definitely don't think she analyzed it because I think for her, it's like ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
You know, she keeps saying like, that's in the past, has nothing to do with me and my relationship. Like, she doesn't want to open that Pandora's box or whatever. But come on, you watched it for sure. Don't lie that you say you didn't see it. Come on.
There's no way. Like, and I think Marge said that she's like, she had to have seen it. That's why she's so upset when we do bring it up or like when we do talk about it. Maybe because she's scared of what was in it, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, let us know if you guys think the same. I definitely think Teresa for sure watched it. Yeah. I 100% think Gia watched it. Like, this girl's on Instagram. Like,
especially Gia's not the one that's like, don't get me wrong, like she wants her mom to be happy. Maybe she likes Louis and all that, but she has been the one to caution to say,
watch out,
moving too fast, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sure if she heard that there's some weird ass video going around, she's going to look at it. So that's 100%, a lie.
100%. Again, Marge is like, you know, but brings up the whole Jennifer thing. I'm just over this whole like fight. Like, Marge needs to kind of like exit a little bit because like she just keeps bringing up this whole Jen thing. And then basically she's like, is this the kind of girlfriend that you want to Teresa about Jen? And Teresa does seem like she's very close to Jen. And I do like their friendship. Louis and Bill seem like they're good friends. So I do think they have a strong bond. Also at the party, the pink party, the boys start chatting. And they're like, we feel bad for Bill. Like he should be here right now, but like, cause of his wife, like he's not here. And then I think Frank's like, don't worry. Like we'll do like a boys night this week. Like we'll go out to dinner. You know, we should never let what the wives beef about come in between like our boys group and whatever. And then even Frank's like, do we invite Louis? And like, Louis like off to the side. He's like, should we invite Louis? And Joe's like, yeah, just invite Louis.
You know what part of this like really kind of annoyed me? Because when they asked this question, they like went to Tiki and Tiki was like, like he was like questioning, like Tiki, shut up. Who are you to like have an opinion?
Like you've been her for 5 minutes.
Yeah. As he was like, I don't know. Like you don't know any of them. You don't have an opinion here, bro.
I think the consensus on Tiki and Tracy is like, no, it ain't happening.
I just don't think they fit this crew. Maybe like another Housewives franchise. I just don't think they fit this crew.
They just don't bring anything, in my opinion. Like they just kind of reiterate what's already happening, but they don't bring anything interesting in their own like drama to the show. Anyways. We also cut to Jen and Bill's shore house and like the kids are swimming and basically Jen's like, I'm not going to the party, so I'm not invited. Like whatever, we're just gonna have like a family like party tonight. And then like whatever, the night's over. We see Marge and her mom go to lunch together, and then right away like they sit down. Like Marge is like, oh my god, Teresa's mad at me. She's like, because I keep questioning Louis. Like right away, like that's their conversation. Like,
well, that's her only storyline.
Yeah. She does like talk about her mom's like job, like her new job, like selling wine or something like that. But like other than that, like it's basically it's all about Teresa and how Teresa's like, she's at her. And even Marge Sr. is like, oh my God. She's like, I saw the videos online. She's like, they don't look that good, whatever. And then, so basically this is the conversation that they're going to have. It cuts in between that scene. And then it cuts to the boardwalk with Gia and Teresa. And they go get some like yogurt or whatever it was. And they go to the store and like the cameras keep like panning to the pineapples. They're like pineapples.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was so funny. I'm like, okay, we get it. Like that's her fruit. Whatever. Yeah. They sit down. They have like a cute like mother-daughter moment. And I do love seeing these scenes because it does show that like Teresa does value Gia's perspective and opinion because it is her oldest. And so Teresa asks about Gia's boyfriend, Christian. And she's like, how are you guys doing? Like it's almost your whatever, you've been together for over a year. And she's like, what did you guys do for your 1 year? And Gia's like, we took a helicopter ride around New York City. I was like, damn, girl, that sounds fucking legit.
That's so nice.
And then Teresa's like, yeah, she's like, Louis planning ours now. She's like, I don't know what he's going to do. She's like, he's so great. Don't you think he's great?
Yeah.
And then Gia's like, she's like eating her food. And she's like, well, yeah. She's like, just like take things like slowly, like one step at a time. She's like, she's like, you're not ready to be engaged yet, right? And then Teresa's like, no. She's like, I don't even think about those things. She's like, it's never on my mind. And I'm like, fast forward. Literally that scene, I think was in October. He proposed to her.
Really? Well, she did bring up about how like, oh, well, I only thought about it in the context of like, my dad would have said, get engaged before you move into with somebody. And now they bought the house and whatever. So like, obviously they are thinking about it in that context that it's getting serious, but like, she's like, no, I'm not thinking about it at all.
That's the thing with her, right? It's like, just be honest and just own it and just say, you know what, Gia, we've really thought about it. We want to move in together and we don't want it to be out of like marriage. So maybe we will consider it. But she's acting as if like she didn't even think about it. Meanwhile, 2 months later, the guy already has a ring and proposing to her in like Greece. Yeah. Like, okay, obviously you thought about it. But yeah, like I posted on Instagram and like it does seem like so many people love Gia and like they love how smart she is. And then we cut back to the Marge lunch and they're still talking about Louis, and Marge is like, wow, like more stuff is coming out like every day and like something new came out today. And her mom's like, more stuff? Like how much more can there be? And then Marge says his ex-fiance states that he hit her in front of her children. And Marge Sr.'s like, oh my God, like she can't ignore this. Cuts back to the boardwalk. And Teresa's like, Marge brought up Louis' past. And Gia's like, who cares about the past? And I'm like, all right, like Gia, you're a smart girl, but like, how can you just say who cares about the past? Like, don't you even consider it?
Especially when it's something like this, where there was like a physical threat potentially. Like that's not nothing,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's maybe not just like one red flag. It's a couple of them. Yeah. So this is where I look at Gia and I'm like, maybe you're not as smart as everyone is saying. Like maybe you just want to be so happy for your mom that you're like, who cares about the past? But like you do have to take those things into consideration. Like,
well, at the end of the day, like Teresa is her mom and they have a tendency to like just not consider things that they don't want. Like they kind of avoid it.
Yeah. And I think even actually Marge says it perfectly. She's like, she has blinders on, and everyone has blinders on, especially when you're in that honeymoon phase and like you want to be in love and like you want everything to be perfect. But this allegation is a very serious allegation. Like physical abuse is like, it's very scary.
I would definitely want to know the details of that. I wouldn't be like, okay, whatever.
And also partnered up with the video where he's freaking apologizing to her on his knees on a beach. Like,
exactly.
Guys,
so
like
it makes a little bit more sense of like, maybe what was he apologizing for?
He was not, as he claims, breaking up with her or whatever it was. Like, what?
That was
none of this makes sense. Anyways, Teresa's like, I don't care. She's like, I only care about my children and his children and him. She's like, those are the only things I care about. Again, very much like blinders on, like it's Teresa. I truly hope, and even Marge Sr. says it, and we've always been saying this from the start, we truly, truly hope none of this is true. And like there's another reason for all of this. And he is going to be a great partner and a great man for her. Like truly, I hope that she has a happy ending. Like I really hope this is all like nothing. We cut to Dolores's townhouse, and basically like her parents come over, and I'm just gonna say like I'm feeling Dolores in her townhouse life. Like she seems very happy.
Me too. I don't think she should move back.
No,
and maybe she won't. She seems like she doesn't want to.
She keeps saying she's like, I love my townhouse. Like I don't want to give it up. Whatever. So her parents come over. They have a cute lunch, and this is where Dolores does tell them finally that like her and David did break up, because I guess they didn't know, and they were so upset, and like it made me sad. Her mom's like, no. Why? Her dad's like, 5 years. Like you can't make it work.
It made me even more confused about the situation, and the fact that like they were so attached to him and stuff. So like I don't understand the situation. So David had enough time outside of work to be like integrated with all the rest of her family, but not her. Like I don't get it.
Even her dad was like, what a great man, he's a part of my family forever, he's like as my son. I'm like, holy, so like
exactly, like she doesn't feel that way. He didn't make her feel that way, but he made everybody else in the family feel that way. So like did he just like the family and not her? Like I don't understand.
I really don't know, guys. Like, I wish we could get into this man's mind, because it's like he did put the effort in. He did put time and care into like her family life and her. But at some point, something just switched in him. And like she even says, she's like, I spoke to him and I was like, are we going to talk about anything else? And he's like, what else is there to talk about? Like, bruh, like 5 years and like you have nothing else to say. Like, it seems like to me, he truly was disappointed in the person that she became.
Because of the surgeries and stuff?
I don't know, but it's like, damn, like you're gonna be that cold-hearted.
Like
I don't know.
He was turned off at her.
Yeah.
The fact that she said that when she moved into the townhouse, he like wasn't even coming.
He didn't even come.
Her.
Yeah.
Like so, he was already over it.
Yeah.
And then I really don't understand the situation, and every time we hear from the family how close he was and how much they love him, I'm like, I don't understand.
And then he still talks to the kids, because she said he still talks to Frankie. I was like, I don't get it. She
said he stayed with Frank at the shore house the other week and stuff. And so like they're so tight. Why wasn't he tight with her?
Something happened with them. Something happened with the two of them. He either changed his feelings about her, he got disappointed in her, he got mad at her. Something clearly happened, or he was asking something of her and she said no to this, and whatever reason, they're just not on the same page. What she does say in this scene, and this is what I noted down, because she does talk about Frank and how she's like, Frank's moving back with the kids, and she's like, Frank did respect the fact that this is my house, and like he's like, I will follow your rules. And she says, thank God he cheated on me, because I don't know if I would have broken up my marriage for the yelling and screaming and disrespect in my house.
Yeah.
I have never heard a woman say that in that way, in that context. Part of me understands what she means, but like to hear someone say, thank God he cheated on me so that I could break up with him, I'm like, damn. Like,
yeah, that hit me too.
Like,
I don't know. I guess it was just the thing that like, this is how men are. And, as the wife, you just, you're the good wife and you just put up with it to make a happy family.
But the cheating was the last.
Cheating was like too much. But yeah, that made me sad for her. That made me really sad.
Very sad. Yeah. Okay. Then we cut to Melissa and Joe and their fixer upper. And basically this is the house that they're going to move into, like to live in. What did you think of the house?
Well, it's a gut job, basically, a
Yeah.
complete gut job. I didn't really get to see enough of it to have an opinion. It looks like it's a really big lot. I didn't understand the location. Remember how they had talked about it, like, oh, we just moved to this area, now we're moving to this area. So, like,
Franklin
is it
Lakes,
in
I
a
think.
better, is it in
I
a
think
better
so.
area? Is that what it is? And they were
I
just
think
able
their
to find
house,
like a.
yeah, I think their other house was in Montville because that's where Teresa's old house was. And then now I think
Mhm.
they're in Franklin Lakes. And obviously we don't know the Jersey area, but like I'm
No.
assuming that Franklin Lakes is more of like a historical, nicer neighborhood. I could be
Got
wrong.
it.
I don't know for sure.
Well,
But
you know me and you too with our obsession with, fixer uppers and all that. So I'm excited
I'm
to like
into
see
it.
the progression of the house. So I'm excited for that. It looks like it has, I don't know, it just looks like a big plot, obviously. So I'm excited to see what they make of it.
Yeah. And I do feel like they must have tried to sell this like as their own reality show, like redoing their house.
Oh, really?
But I'm guessing they must have tried, and maybe Bravo was like, no, like it's not enough. I'm sure you would have, like, you would have pitched the show to somebody, right? Like someone would have picked it up, but
I would have watched it.
I would have watched it too. But maybe it just takes too long, and they're like, we can't film a reality show like over 2 years. Like it's gonna take too long.
Yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows? Yeah, Melissa gets attacked by the bees. That was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that was.
And then so okay, I want to tell the listeners about the story of your bridal shower. And basically,
Please.
your bridal shower was outdoors in your backyard. And
Yeah.
the second I was wearing like a really cute, like I was so excited to wear this like cute maxi style dress. And I literally enter her party and I feel like a pinch on the side of my thigh. And like, I haven't even seen you yet. Like, I haven't even come into the house yet. Like, I'm still walking into the house. I'm like, that feels weird. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, no, that's not like a tag. That's like something got me. So I start freaking out. And then I run into the house. Haven't seen you yet still. Run into the bathroom and I like lift up my dress. And at that moment, like I still don't see anything, but like I could tell like my thigh is like red, like already it's like hot and red. I'm like, oh my God, something bit me for sure. I leave the bathroom. Our other friend goes in after me. She's like, there's a bee in here.
Oh my
The
god.
bee was in the bathroom because it came out of my
Must
dress.
have been in your dress. Yeah.
So it got stuck in my dress. It bit me. I don't even do anything. Like I was just like living my life. And like that will forever be ingrained in my mind.
The next day we found a crazy hornet's nest by the back door. And they were just living there. And they had gone. I remember like they were all over the food outside too. And then we found a nest the next day. So I'm sorry about that.
It was
yeah,
nuts.
that's
like,
traumatized.
but I'm traumatized because it went in my dress. Like forget like your arm or like something that's exposed. Like it got stuck in there, and like it probably got scared and like, oh my God. Yeah, my thigh was fucked up for a while. That was bad. Anyways, bees. So I can, when she's screaming in the fear, I understand like that.
Like,
fear.
run out of there.
But what I did take from this scene, I did really appreciate how Joe admitted to like having issues with Melissa last year. And he's like, you know what? This house has really brought us together. He's like, last year she wanted to like move and I didn't really care to. And now this year we decided to move our house and rebuild this lot and like make our dream home. And I really did appreciate how he was like, this brought us closer together. He's like, it's fun to like talk about things with her and like pick out tiles and this, that. And I just really thought that was a cute thing for him to admit, and that something like this can be a very positive thing for your relationship. It kind of like pushes you in a different direction.
Yeah. And the reality is that marriage is work. Mm-hmm. And that sometimes you do have your ups and downs and you can't just leave it stagnant for too long. And why not take on a new challenge, take on a new adventure, bring something new. And I really appreciate the fact that he puts that kind of effort in to say like, I always have to keep her on her toes.
Yes, I love that.
So I really like that. I really appreciate that he puts in that effort. And I'm sure Melissa does too. Like they have their ups and downs, but they put in the work for each other.
100%. Love that scene. Then we cut to Jennifer and Dolores. And this scene really like shook me. Like I was very emotional watching it. Ultimately like this whole Jen storyline, like it's really carried throughout the season and she's holding up the season, I feel like, on her shoulders. And ultimately like I feel for her kids because they're going to watch this season and they're going to have to face all of these freaking things about their dad, and they're going to go to school and like everyone's going to be like, oh my God, your dad had an affair. Like, you know how kids are, right? Like people just talk shit. So I feel for the kids. I feel for her. Dolores comes over, I guess, do this boxing thing in their basement, whatever. And then after the boxing thing, they sit down and like, they just like chat. And Dolores is like, whatever, spill the tea. Like, how are you feeling about everything? And Jen's like, at the shore, she's like, I was really hoping me and Melissa could get to a better place. Yeah. And Dolores is like, she's like, you can't explain things properly. She's like, you just like walk away or like you make it a bigger fight. That's what she's saying to Jen. so my question to you is like, I feel like Melissa instigated that fight. I feel like Jen made it worse, but I feel like Melissa like triggered it. How do you see
Well,
that?
it was Tracy actually who started it.
True.
But yeah, she was whispering into Melissa's ear, and then yeah, they brought it up. So it was really Melissa, but it was Tracy.
Yeah.
But I agree. Yeah, Jen didn't bring it up. She just responded.
Yeah, she responded, and of course it got worse. But I feel like Melissa did that first thing of like, you said this about my husband. So okay,
Yeah.
like we already like we're done with that. So I do feel like Melissa did start that, and Jen's like, yeah, automatically like I go into defense mode because she's like they're all like coming against me, which I understand. Like they all come for
You
her.
feel ganged
Like,
up on.
what else are you gonna do? And then Jen's like, it's such a stressful time right now. She's like, end of the year, the kids are like leaving school. She's like, I don't have a housekeeper still. Like it sounded so privileged. Like she's like so stressed out because of the housekeeper, and now she's like, because of Margaret, like I'm gonna have to go sit with my kids and like friends and family and like basically tell them about Bill's affair because like I never said that before. And Dolores was like, you really never told anyone, like you didn't tell your sister, like you didn't tell your parents. She's like, no. She's like, I basically did all of this to avoid saying the truth this whole time.
That broke
like,
my heart.
broke my
I know
heart.
we knew that. I know we knew that already, but just imagining like what she went through and just holding that in, like that really, I feel really sad for her.
Yeah. It's so hard. And then she's like, Gabby was just crying about it, like upstairs. And then she's like, you just don't know how it feels. Dolores is like, bitch, I know how it feels. Like I was literally you. Like I was 9 months pregnant too when like I found out. And she's like, I left Frank. Jen's like, she's like, they all say like, oh, we love Bill. We just don't like his wife. We can't stand his wife. Like, she's like, how do you think that makes me feel? And then Jen's like, she basically calls Bill a effing pussy. She's like, he didn't say one word all night. And I'm so happy they addressed this because we obviously were questioning that too.
Yeah.
And Dolores is like, okay, but like, are you mad at Bill? And she's like, yeah, I'm fucking mad at Bill. She's like, are you kidding me? She's like, I've been sticking by your side for 10 years, like putting you on a pedestal, making you feel like a king. She's like, you couldn't even stand up for me in that moment.
That was crazy. When she like framed it that way, I was like, how dare he walk away like that? Like she has kept her mouth shut. Something so painful for her.
Yeah.
Protected you, like she said, put you on a pedestal. And now when she's getting in fights over it, again, trying to protect you, you just like slink away in the corner. What the hell?
I know. I got so mad all over again. And she's like, he already betrayed me once. And now here he is doing it again. And I was like, oh,
that's
God.
So sad.
God.
Oh my gosh.
And then Dolores says, are you still mad about the affair? And Jen replies, I'm just numb. I dealt with this the only way I knew how, which was if I'm going to forgive him, then I need to move on and not say anything ever. And this broke me too, because I'm like, of course you have a right to be upset, but I understand it's like you took this path. You're like, hey, we're done. We're moving on with our lives. Yeah. Then I can't ever say this again. But of course you can. Of course you have feelings. Like you are a human being. Like things come back to the surface.
Yeah. And this is making all those feelings come back.
Yeah.
Now she has to talk about it. She never talked about it anyway. She kept it to herself. So now she has to talk about it to everyone. And obviously it's going to bring back that anger. So I wonder what's going to happen with them.
I don't know. That's a very good question.
I don't think they're going to break up or anything like that. But like all that pain that she suppressed is going to come out.
Yeah. And this idea of like being this victim where you feel like you can't say anything because you're like, I like, then she says after, she's like, I know, but it's like, I don't know how to deal with it. It's like, I already decided to move on. Is it okay for me to change my mind now?
Yeah.
And she's asking Dolores, but it's like, of course it's okay. Like, it's so sad that she's asking, is it okay for me to change my mind? Like, wow.
I feel really sad for her.
I did too. And this scene was like really hard to get through. And like, again, like, and Dolores does say, she's like, Bill is a very reasonable man. Just talk to him and like, you guys will work it out. So like, I definitely do want to see them work it out. And I want to see how they navigate that because it's very rare to see a couple maybe get through that successfully.
Because it seems like even though she never said anything to anyone else, it seems like they didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Between the two of them. Like she found out and she was just like, we're just gonna, he said what he had to say. Like, I feel like they talked about it that one instant where it came out and he was like, I'm not doing it anymore or whatever. It's ended. And like, that was it. So they haven't even talked about it together.
Yeah. It was really sad. Even Dolores is like, it's the realization that your Cinderella life is a crock of shit, basically. I don't know. It's so
That was
hard.
tough.
Like it was
Yeah.
really tough, and it makes it harder that Bill, I think, is a good man, and I think he knows that he fucked up, and like hopefully he's never done that after that. And I do think that he has to live with this darkness too right now, and like figure out how he comes out of it, even as an
Yeah.
individual, not just like
And
as
not
his
like
husband.
slink in the corners. Like he has to
Yeah,
deal with
like that
it.
was bad. That was bad. Anyways, we cut to boys' night. And so, like, whatever, all the boys are like, hey, we're going to go out. Like, well, let's make a plan, whatever. Awkwardly in the group chat, Bill, I guess, says, like,
So
sure.
awkward.
And then Joe, I guess, responds by saying, like, fuck you, Bill. And everyone, like, felt awkward. They're like, what? Like,
they're like taking a poll. Like, was he joking or was he serious?
yeah. And then they ask like Bill on camera, like Jen's like, what the hell? And then Bill's like, obviously Joe Gorga brings the girl drama to the group. Like, so obviously they get to the restaurant, whatever. Before Bill arrives, they bring up the new Louis gossip because Louis is not there yet either. And Tiki's like to Joe, he's like, yo, he's like, aren't you scared for your sister? Like, he's like, that's like some fucked up like rumors. He's like, you know, like would they have kids? Like she has kids and stuff. And have you brought this up to her? And Joe like doesn't really answer the question. He's like, no way. He's like, whatever. It just looked to me like he was so, I'm not going to bring it up. I've done this before. I've talked about her potential, her like husband, and it's just not been good. So
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get involved. Like that just seems like how Joe is taking all of this, which a part of me just doesn't blame him. Like I understand where he's coming from because Teresa just doesn't ever get it. Like she never takes that advice and she's like, thank you.
Yeah.
No, she'll take it as
like,
an
I'm
attack.
looking out for you.
Yeah. So anyways, Bill shows up. Louis still not there. Joe and him, like they just hug it out. Like, you know how boys are like, so like whatever. And then Tiki asks, do you think Joe was joking when he wrote that like fuck you thing? And Bill says, I wasn't sure. He's like, I thought we were cool, but that night, like after that, like you don't know how things can change your relationship. Like maybe like, and Bill says, I don't put gasoline on the fire. He's like, I try not to get involved in the woman's drama. And Joe chimes in and says, Jen got dirty and disgusting. I think she crossed that line. First of all, you are talking to a man about his wife. Like to say that she got dirty and disgusting, like there's better words to use. He could have like toned it down a little bit. You're now insulting him because that's his wife. And Bill's like very calm. And he's like, so you don't think Margaret crossed that line bringing up my secret? And then Evan's like, yeah, she did. She dug on me. And Bill's like, people can be nosy, like whatever. And Evan's like, no, that's not nosy. She's trying to find information that will hurt individuals. He's like, that's just not a good person. Like whoever does that is not a good person. And Bill's like, okay, well, if we don't see eye to eye, then like whatever. And Evan's like, you can determine that that's a good person, then tell me. And Bill's like, okay, I'm done. I'm just done. And then Bill starts to walk away.
What would you like him to say? My wife is not a good person.
Yeah,
like what is your expectation from this? Like, okay, you guys are friends, fine, but like it's his wife. What do you expect? I don't 100%. Understand.
And Evan's like, okay, bye, bitch, bye. And I'm just like, Evan, like, I feel like Jackie told you like what to say. Like she gave you a script. Like he just turned up so hard. And I'm like, you're right. Like, what do you want him to say about his wife? Like she's disgusting. He's obviously not going to say that.
Like I understand Evan's point of view too, that they're getting so upset that Margaret said something, like brought something up, but then like he just feels like it's hypocrisy because, you know, Jen did the same to him. But like, and whatever, they're so annoying, like trying to get into the nuances of like nosy versus digging for information. Like it's all the same, please. Like, but what do you expect when you're going after a man's wife and speaking very disrespectfully? Like, what is he's gonna back up his wife.
All Bill can say is, and he did say this, he's like, I don't get involved in the women's drama. That's it. Like point blank. Like I don't get involved. Yes, she messed up. My wife messed up too. So did yours. Can we just call it at that? No, like they kept like digging like
details about like she's a bad person.
Yeah.
And she's disgusting. You're right. No.
Like who's gonna say that? Anyways, I just felt bad for Bill. Like I was like, okay, like I understand him just like leaving. I'm sure Me like too. And again, guys, by the way, there's another to be continued. Like every episode is like to be continued. Like guys, we understand it's to be continued. We get it. But he walks out. I feel like he's gonna come back maybe and he'll be like, are we good? Like the boys will be like, don't worry, like we're good now. Like don't leave. I feel like it's gonna be like an ending like that. Cause otherwise it just doesn't make any sense. I feel for Bill. I think he's trying to navigate this, like trying to be apologetic and like trying to be like, I fucked up, but also protecting his wife still and being like,
yeah, not enough. He's not protecting his wife enough, in my opinion. yeah, if they care about him as a friend and they want to continue to be friends with him, they shouldn't have attacked him about her.
Yeah.
Like, what is he supposed to say?
Yeah, agreed.
And he just like showed up nervous about the whole situation.
Yeah, he stayed
It
for like
looked
a
like it was
minute.
gonna go okay. It looked like it was gonna go okay. And then I was like, nope. And then he's like, okay, bye.
So he leaves. Louis still not
So
there.
Louis didn't even get there.
Louis didn't even get
Right.
there. So I feel like we're still gonna see that scene of like Louis coming.
Yeah, and then they're gonna dress shit with him after.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the to be continued.
That's the to be continued. So I think that's pretty much. Do you have anything else you want to add for the Ranjay?
I just feel like it's been a shit show of a season already. I don't know. It's been crazy, but dramatic.
I hope Jen and Bill can come out of this successfully, because I do feel like they are carrying the season right now, and it's good for her as a housewife. Like, she hopefully will get the next season and stuff, you know?
Props for them for being this open and this like she's being very authentic, it seems. So like good for them for putting it out there. And I'm sure it's super tough to go from telling no one in the world to telling everyone at the same time, including your family. That's tough.
She did say something that was very interesting to me, and I'm sure you will relate as well. When she was talking, I forget who she was telling. She goes, I have to tell my mom.
She was telling her daughter.
Yeah, I have to tell my mom like what Bill did. And she goes, she's not going to be mad at Bill. She's going to be mad at Margaret for exposing the truth. And she said, like, in our culture, like, the men can never do wrong, or like men will be men basically.
Yeah.
But like, who exposed it? And I was like, this is so my grandma, because my grandma would never admit that like her son did anything wrong, like my dad, because to them in their eyes, it's like, not that my dad ever had an affair or whatever, but like men are like the men, like you can't ever be mad at them. So it's like, I totally understand what Jen was saying in that moment.
I do, but I again, it makes me feel bad for her that like,
it's that pressure.
Yeah, it's not fair.
It's like, your husband did fuck up. He cheated on you. She should be mad at him. Like
100%.
So anyways, that's Ranjay. Let's
dramatic.
Well, thank you for joining me for the Ranjay recap. And guys, stay tuned, stick around, click the other link if you guys see it for the Miami recap.
Yes. See you soon.
And that is it, guys, for the podcast this week, covering off Ranjay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys loved my best friend / co-host. So let us know. Follow us on Instagram at the Hollywood Heroine with the E at the end. Comment, DM us. Let us know what you thought about the podcast. And if you can, guys, if you're listening, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Drop us a review on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing, if you like us, and if you guys want more of this. So thank you so much. Bye.